Hey guys, this is saigamiproject and my name is Androtelia Vörös, aka Sunny, creator of the manga series Saigami, published and serialized in Saturday AM, the bi-weekly digital manga anthology. Previously, you might have seen my unboxing video of the XP Pen Artist 15.6. Now it's time to do a review on it. Okay, so here we are. Setting it up was actually way easier than I thought. The cables and downloading the driver. Yes, in the end I didn't use the CD because the driver was more for recent update, so I went with that. But yeah, it was pretty simple. The only thing I had to do is to delete my Wacom driver I had previously on, make sure it doesn't interfere with this driver, but it's pretty simple and easy. So first I wanted to test the pressure because this pen has 8000 somewhat pen pressure points or whatever it is called. I don't know. Yeah, that's the pressure. But yeah, that's pretty neat. Like I had to press it really hard to reach the maximum. But yeah, it's really interesting. You can of course adjust it in the menu. For example, if you are lighter handed or if you have a heavier drawing hand, you can adjust it so it will work in your favor. For first try, I have to say I'm really happy with this tablet. Both the pressure sensitivity is really good. There was no lag at all. With some tablets or whenever you're using an iPad, a Surface or some other cheaper tablets, you can see a lag if you're doing too fast movements. For example, that's why I'm doing these spirals, because it's the easiest way to spot if there's a lag, but there wasn't any. And even when I was drawing later on, I didn't notice any sort of lag. So the response rate is really, really good. The only time I was having a sort of a lag issue was when I was using the screen recorder and was using my drawing softwares at the same time. But that's more of my laptop issue than with the monitor, because whenever I wasn't using the screen capture, there was no issue at all. To go back a little bit for the unboxing part, yes, I could open up the pen holder and it has the spare nibs. I think it was 8 spare nibs. Yeah, I think. So it was actually not that hard to open it. I just had to figure it out. And the hole in the back is there to help you take out the nib of your pen. So it's pretty simple once you figure it out. So before I started working with this monitor, I set my express case because, working with my Wacom, I got used to certain express case. I don't use that many. I only use a step back, an eraser, a pen, and a lasso tool, because those are the ones I use most frequently, I would say. Not the lasso tool, but the first three, but yeah. So I set those, and apart from the 6 express case on the monitor, there are also 2 buttons on the pen that I use to set an eyedrop tool, and the other one is basically for a right click, I think, but I don't really use that. I'm only going for the eyedrop tool. I have a mouse on my side anyway, because I'm just too used to a mouse, so yeah, I have that for that. As for using the pen, I still prefer the pen of the Wacom. It has a more of a rubbery feel. It's thicker and heavier, so that's more up to my favor. But apart from that personal preference, this pen is really good. Like, it works really well. The pressure sensitivity is just awesome. My only issue was that maybe I ended up pressing the buttons on the pen a bit too much. Like, I'm used to thicker and I have a very, very, very... Something fell. Oh well. So I have a weird way to hold my pencils, like I'm using way more fingers than I was supposed to. So I often ended up pressing that eyedrop button, so I have to be careful with the coloring process. Apart from that, what I noticed was that it's probably another personal fault, or I wouldn't call it a preference, it's just my style. But since I have a very sketchy sketching style, and I'm heavy-handed when it comes to coloring, I could see that my nib kind of became deformed. Like, it also happened with my previous pens, with the Genius and the Wacom pens too. So it's good to know that I do have the spare nibs, because I would assume that I will need to switch it soonish, or I don't know, we will see. Another minor issue of mine was, although the monitor and the pen has a really good response rate, I noticed that if you are lifting the pen off for too long time, like for example when I was switching a window to check a reference image, or just change a music or something, so and going back to my drawing program, the pen did not respond right away. Like, I had to first touch the monitor. It wasn't just enough to hover the pen over the monitor, so there was a slightly bit of lag with the response there, but that's nothing disturbing. You just need to get used to it. I mean, I'm pretty sure it happened with my Wacom as well, so I guess it's a standard thing to happen. And what was a little bit weird is that there was some, I'm not sure, I wouldn't call it a disarray. I know there's a term for it, I just can't remember. Whenever you're using your pen and the cursor has a sort of displacement compared to that, it's something you can get used to pretty easily, because it's not like when you're working with your real pencils or pen. When it comes to drawing monitors, be it an iPad, a Surface, a Wacom, anything, there will be this sort of issue. You get used to it, you can work with it, but sometimes with this monitor, especially when I was to hit something on the edges, I noticed that this sort of disarray was a bit bigger, and it even affected my mouse. So it was kind of funny that, for example, in Photoshop, I tried to hit the filter, and I knew I was hovering over that, I hit that, but it hit the next menu next to it. So that was kind of weird, and I had a little bit of a trouble with that. But once I figured that, yeah, sure, it's gonna be like that for now on, I worked it out and I got used to it, I would say. But yeah, that was probably the biggest issue I had, and it wasn't even an issue that was hindering me with work. Sure, I had a few misclicks, but nothing too serious. Like, it could be way worse. And for this price, if that's my biggest issue, that's just beautiful. Like, like it's nothing too bothersome, so it's really good. Of course, to test this monitor truly, I had to do some art, and I'm an artist, so yay! I decided to do a quick colored artwork of one of my characters from my manga series Saigami, which is published and serialized in Saturday AM, the bi-weekly digital manga anthology, and you can get the first 2 volumes. It's already available worldwide in both print and digital format, or you can just read the first 2 chapters for free up on Saturday AM's homepage. I'm gonna leave all of the links down below, so you will be able to check it out. So yeah, I'm drawing this guy Reggie, one of my main characters. And yeah, when I started to draw, I was a bit afraid. People tend to have too high hopes for drawing monitors like this. For example, I remember when I first had the chance to try out a Cintiq, I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be like magic, like I can draw on a monitor, and that's how people do amazing art, and it's so much easier. It's like on paper, but it's digital. And when I tried it, it was actually a disappointment, because it wasn't like anything I expected. It felt like drawing on glass, and I just didn't like when I first tried the Wacom. So I had to realize that, once again, digital art is not magic, and it's not so easy, and you need to get used to it. You need to learn to use it properly. So when I started using this monitor, I tried to not to have too high hopes. Like, I knew that it will probably be way easier than drawing with your normal pen tablet, but then again, I didn't know how good it will be, because once again, this is a relatively cheap graphic monitor, so I wasn't sure what to expect, although my first test seemed pretty promising. And even when I was drawing, I had to say that, yeah, it's pretty good. I was way faster. I had no problems drawing. There were some things I had to get used to, because once again, I'm holding the pen a weird way, weird angles, so whenever it comes to digital, I need to adjust for that a little bit. But yeah, I could do this artwork pretty quickly. Both the sketch, I use 2 sketch layers, because that's how I work normally as well. Like, normally when I'm doing my comic pages, I'm using first a blue layer, then I work on that with a mechanical pencil, and then I go to the inking. My sketching style is very sketchy and scratchy. That sort of chicken leg or whatever it's called, sketching style. I'm not too proud of that, but oh well, that's what I'm used to, so I know it's a bad habit. I need to change it. But anyway, I did my sketch pretty fast. It was pretty promising. What I dreaded the most was doing the line art inking. Whenever I was trying to do a fully digital art with my Wacom, it was always so slow and so much trouble. Like, just getting one line right took me so long. Like, doing it's not good, deleting, step back, doing it again, step back, doing it again, step back. It was way too slow, way too troublesome. So that's why I never really got into doing too much digital art, because doing the line art just didn't work out for me. Like, my eyes are on the monitor, but my hands are someplace else, so it just never worked out. I actually envy people who can do some digital art like that, because I never was able to do that. Digital is not for everyone, so I was hopeful that like this, basically it will be like working on paper, and actually it was. One of my most frequently used express K is the step back, but it was a pleasant surprise to see that I didn't have to hit it too often, because I could just draw like I was drawing on paper. And on top of that, actually, it was putting my mind at ease to know that I can step back. So even if I mess up one line with the ink, I can just step back and do it again. That's something you can do with traditional when you're inking. So yeah, doing the line art was pretty fun, and I realized that, yeah, this is gonna be awesome. Like, this monitor was worth the investment, because I completed this line art so fast that, that never ever completed the line art digitally so fast before. Like, it was just so good to see it. Of course, I'm not saying it's perfect. I made mistakes. There were times when it didn't turn out the way I wanted, so I just stepped back, did it again. But all in all, it was fast, easy. It was actually, it was like what I was expecting, with the high hopes. So yeah, it was very, very pleasant doing the line art with this. Also, for the sketch and the line art, I was using Manga Studio 5, or Clip Studio now, I think. They changed names, kinda. I still have the old version, the Manga Studio. But anyway, I prefer their inking tools over Photoshop. So I did the sketch and the line art here. And after I was done with the line art, I switched to Photoshop, because whenever it comes to coloring, I prefer Photoshop, because I have some brushes that I prefer to use there. Although I added the base colors in Manga Studio, because it kind of was faster there. I don't know, it's just... I always use mixed programs whenever it comes to digitally coloring, and now it had the line art phase as well. So yeah, I had the base colors here. It was pretty simple, pretty easy, especially since my line art was clean and I could use the paint bucket tool. Normally, whenever I scan my artworks done on paper traditionally with ink, I can't really use the paint bucket tool, because my line arts aren't that clean. So even if I use the paint bucket, I have to go over with a brush around the edges and fill up spots. Of course, I had to do that here with the digital line art and the paint bucket as well, but not as much as with my traditional artwork. So that also helped to do this artwork faster. As for the coloring process, it's not a tutorial, it's not a step-by-step, so I won't talk about what I did and what I didn't do. I was using a couple of brushes. I purchased those brushes because the normal Photoshop brushes aren't something I like to use too much, but I found some brushes for sale that worked out really well for me, so I'm using those. The brush set from Jeza, from Draw with Jeza, and the brush set from Sakimi-chan. So I like to work with those brushes whenever it comes to coloring. And I didn't really settle with a coloring style yet. Sometimes I do cel shading, sometimes I do more of a rendered style. I kind of was going for the latter here. So I was using a lot of eyedrop tool and blending the colors in. It was actually a lot of fun, although, like I said before, I ended up hitting the eyedrop tool too often. Sometimes on colors and places where I didn't intend to. So I had to hit that step back button a couple of times. But all in all, it was super fast and a super pleasant drawing experience. So yeah, I can say that this graphic monitor lived up to all of my expectations. Truth to be told, the artwork I'm doing here is not my personal best, nor the line art, nor the coloring. It was more for just a demo to display the first tries with this tablet. But after I recorded this, I actually worked on another artwork, basically a print without having any sort of disturbance like a screen capture or a camera over my head. So I could fully concentrate on creating art. And that was even faster and a way better drawing experience than this artwork with Reiji from Saigami. You can see the end result here. It was way faster than I was expecting. Like, completing the artwork with all of the colors and everything. Basically, I don't know, I didn't measure the time, which I kind of feel bad because it will be good to tell you some solid numbers that, oh, I just finished this in 2 hours. I think it was a bit over 2 hours. But, whenever it came to digital art, just doing the sketch and the line art usually took me hours because I was so slow and so bad with digital line arts. And here I could do a finished artwork just within 3 hours at most. I don't think it was more than that. So it was surprisingly fast, and I was super happy with it because in the future I would like to do more digital art, for example for prints, chibi artworks, because I'm planning to attend more artist allies and to have a wider selection in my store MV store where you can find prints, buttons, stickers, even original art. I would like to do more fan arty stuff like that, while also focusing on my original content. Whenever it comes to drawing manga, I think I will stick to the traditional. Like, I can't really see myself doing my manga pages on this tablet, even though I really like it. I enjoyed doing the colored artwork with it, but there are just things that you can do the same way digitally, I think. Since I'm working with nib pens, brushes, and ink, there are things that can only be done like that. Like, I really like my pentel inking brush, and sometimes when I do the sans effect with that, I don't know how it will turn out because it's working in an unexpected way. Like, I don't know which part of the nib are wet with the ink and which part are dry, so it will create an interesting effect. The same goes whenever I'm doing, for example, a splatter effect or something. I don't know where the splatters will go because, I just blow at the nib and the ink will fly and it will turn out in an unexpected way, but it will feel also more natural because it was something beyond my control. Whenever it comes to digital, sure, you can get custom-made brushes. Like, even I have some custom brushes for, clouds and stuff like that, which are really, really handy. And I know you have some splatter brushes, even built in Manga Studio and stuff like that. But for me, it just didn't feel the same. So, yeah, this graphic monitor is amazing. It is really worth the price. Like, it's absolutely a great deal. It was probably one of my best investment because it will help my work be way, way, way faster. But will I switch to digital completely? No, at least not now, not yet, not like this. I don't think so. I will do more colored things like this because, I love my watercolors, I love my markers, but they run out. The markers run out, eventually the watercolor will run out, and I will have to buy new ones. So on long term, using those traditional coloring tools can be more expensive than investing into a graphic tablet like this. So whenever it comes to creating prints and merchandise, I probably will focus on digital. Or whenever I'm doing a cover image or an image for advertisement for Saturday AM, yes, I probably will do digital because, whenever it comes to printing or enlarging things or using them as a PNG file, it's way better to have something that's digital because it's easier for the graphic designers to use that. Or whenever we are doing banners, it's better to have digital that you can enlarge, especially if it's a vector or something similar to that. So yes, digital has a lot of benefits. It will help me out to be way faster, be way more productive. But at the same time, I will still be mostly a traditional artist when it comes to manga drawing. And I guess I will become a mixed media artist because I will use both traditional and both digital. But yeah, it's really good to know that I have this now, and it will be super useful. I would say it will broaden my possibilities. I was doing digital art before, but it was always something that I did not enjoy. It was a necessary thing to do because whenever I had to do a cover for Saturday, I knew that, yeah, I probably should be doing something digital because that will make the designer's job easier. But yeah, it was always a struggle, and I tried to simplify things by using only cel shading, which is not so appealing at some places. So yeah, doing digital was always a struggle. But like this, I came to enjoy it. So digital is not a necessary must-have anymore for me, but it's a fun alternative. It's a good thing in my art arsenal, and yeah, that was worth all of the money. So to sum things up, do I recommend this tablet? Yes, I do. Hashtag not sponsored. I wish it was, but no, I got this out of my pocket. So yeah, XP you can sponsor me in the future, please, please, please. But anyway, so I can recommend this tablet. It is really good. I looked up some other XP pen tablets. Usually people are recommending them, like they are having good reviews. So I would suggest that probably the other brands are really good too. For example, White Manga just did a video on the 13.3, I think it is 13 point something XP pen, and he also really liked it. So I would suggest that you can check out his video too and see another type of XP pen graphic tablet. Mine is a bit bigger, but it doesn't come with a stand and stuff like that, so that's probably a difference. But anyway, this is a really good and relatively cheap tablet. Like compared to a Wacom Cintiq, it's so cheap. Like even just compared to Wacom, I'm pretty sure that my Wacom Intuos, of course, I think it was a larger medium. I can't remember, but it's not your smallest Intuos. It's quite a big, like the drawing surface is almost A4 size, so it's quite a big Intuos. But it cost me a bit more than this graphic monitor. And that's kind of insane if you think about it. Of course, Wacom is superior whenever it comes to tablet, and they say that it will always be the best. And yes, I love their pen, and it works perfectly. But still, that Intuos, although it served me really well, could never bring me to enjoy and get into digital art like this monitor did. And I think that's the most important thing, how you experience things and how it can help you out and how it can change your way of thinking. Of course, it's not perfect, but it's perfectly working well, especially for the price rate I got it for. So for me, as my first graphic display drawing monitor, whatever it's called, they can have so long names. Anyway, for first, this is perfect. It works just perfectly fine for me. I'm really happy with it, so I can only recommend it. It can also help me do some more things with videos I wanted to do for a long time, but I would have needed to use digital art. So now with this, I can use it. Also, doing, for example, live streams could be a possibility with this, because the camera I'm using to record my videos is not good for live streams. But for example, I can capture the screen of this and do a live stream like that. Of course, it's not the same as when you can see me or you can hear me talk, but still, it's a step forward to live streaming, which I really would like to do in the future. So yeah, I'm super excited for all of the possibilities this little graphic monitor opened up for me. Of course, it's not so little. I mean, the screen is bigger than my laptop, so it's pretty neat. And I know I didn't go too much into the details, or at least in technical details, but I'm not a tech channel, and I really suck with those details. But I'm gonna leave the link to the Amazon site for this tablet. They will have all of the tech details you might need, so you can check it out. And apart from the link to this one, I will leave all sorts of links down below. You can check out Saturday AM, you can subscribe, it's just $5 for a year. I'm gonna leave the links for the Saigami books below, my store MV store, my other social media, Instagram, Facebook, and I also do have a Patreon where I upload more content, more videos, other stuff. I also included some new prices starting from 2018, so now your support can mean more. I will do a video covering up what I offer on Patreon too, but that will be for another time. So yeah, this is the start of the year. I've got a fancy new tool. I will do my best with it to create more content, more videos, and I will be back with my next video in a couple of days. Thank you for watching. Bye.